Hi, welcome back. Dear students, in this session, we'll discuss social issues from Unit 2 of Class 8 English Reader. In this part, we shall transact face sheet of this unit as well as reading A, Oliver asks for more. Right, take a look at this quote. What do you read here? Home is the happiest place in the world. Why not? Everyone admits it. Everyone likes home. Everyone takes utmost delight in staying at home. Yet again, there is a contradiction. Some people may like their workplace. Some people may stay in the playground always. Well, dear students, you take your pens and papers and start writing the points of why you feel home is the happiest place in the world. If not, you specify the reasons particular place is the happiest place in the world. Alright, let us switch on to reading a part. Oliver asks for more. Now, let me narrate this interesting story written by Charles Dickens. In brackets, this is an extract from the novel Oliver Twist, written by British novelist Charles Dickens. He lived between 1812 and 70. It is the story of an orphan boy named Oliver who is brought to a children's home. Well, Oliver was a small boy who was brought to a children's home. Now, here is the story. Mr. Bumble walked on with long strides, long steps. Little Oliver, firmly grasping his gold-laced scarf, trotted behind him. Little Oliver was walking hurriedly beside him. Oliver had not been within the walls of the workhouse of a quarter an hour when Mr. Bumble informed him that the board had said he was to appear before it forthwith. Oliver was not present about a quarter of an hour. As such, he was called by a board. What's the board? Let's go through it. Not having a very clearly defined notion of what a live board was, even Oliver also doesn't know what live board was. Is it a board made of wood or steel? Let us see it. Oliver was rather astonished by this information and was not quite certain whether he ought to laugh or cry. Why the live board was calling him? Now, does he need to cry or laugh? Let's see it. He had no time to think about the matter. Mr. Bumble asked Oliver to follow him into a large whitewashed room where 8 or 10 fat gentlemen were sitting round a table. It was a whitewashed room where 8 or 10 gentlemen were sitting round the table. At the top of the table, seated in an armchair rather higher than the rest, was a particularly fat gentleman with a round red face. A fat gentleman was sitting on a high chair. Perhaps he was the head of the live board. Bow to the board, said Bumble. Oliver brushed away 2 or 3 years that were lingering in his eyes, and seeing no board but the table, bowed to that. Instead, some gentlemen were sitting round a table. What's your name, boy? Said the gentleman in the high chair. So the head of the board was asking the question, what's your name, boy? Then what's the reply of Oliver? Oliver was frightened at the sight of so many gentlemen, which made him tremble. The beadle gave him a tap on his back with his cane, which made him cry. Who was Beadle? An official of a church. He tapped on the back of Oliver with his cane. Then what Oliver did do? He cried, like that. Boy, said the gentleman in the high chair, listen to me. You know you are an orphan, I suppose. So he said, Oliver was an orphan. Was there, sir? Inquired poor Oliver. The boy is a fool. I thought he was, said the gentleman in the white waistcoat. A gentleman who wore white waistcoat said the boy was a fool. Hush! The gentleman who had spoken first. You know, you got no father or mother, and that you were brought up by the parish, weren't you? Parish means a church committee. Yes, sir, replied Oliver, weeping bitterly. He was bitterly weeping. What are you crying for? Inquired the gentleman in the white waistcoat. The white waistcoat man further questioned Oliver. I hope you say your prayers every night, said another gentleman in a gruff voice, and pray for the people who feed you and take care of you like a Christian. Another gentleman ordered Oliver to make prayers every night. Yes, sir, stammered the boy. Well, you have come here to be educated and taught a useful trade, said the red-faced gentleman in the high chair. So, you'll begin to pick oakum tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock, added the surly one in the white waistcoat. The white waistcoat man ordered Oliver to pick oakum the next day at 6 o'clock. Right. Oliver bowed low, directed by the beadle, and was then hurried away to a large wall where on a rough, hard bed he sobbed himself to sleep. Immensely threatened by the advice and orders of every member of the life board, finally Oliver reached his room and sobbed himself to sleep. Poor Oliver, as he lay sleeping, unconscious of everything around him, the board had taken a decision that would change the course of his life. On the other hand, while he was sleeping, the life board took a crucial decision. What that decision was? The members of the board were very wise and philosophical men. The members of the board were wise and philosophical men. But it has been written on a sarcastic note. As they turned their attention to the workhorse, they discovered that it was the regular place of public entertainment for the poorer classes. They felt the poor all getting celebrated in the children's home. It was the place where they had breakfast, dinner, tea and supper all the year round and free, when it was all play and no work. They were playing and were having food for 4 times a day, and they were enjoying a lot. This was really a shocking state of affairs. They were of the opinion that the poor should be given only 2 alternatives. According to them, the poor should be given just 2 alternatives. What are they? To starve either quickly outside the workhouse or gradually inside the house. To starve, to stay in hunger quickly outside the workhouse, but gradually in the home. With this view, they decided that the inmates of the workhouse would be issued 3 meals of thin gruel a day with an onion twice a week. They had taken a pathetic decision. They decided to give 3 meals of thin gruel every day. What do you mean by a gruel? A thin liquid food of oats, rice, etc. In short, gruel means ganji in Telugu. As such, the life board decided to offer only 3 meals of thin gruel every day and just 2 onions per week. And then, what would be the fate of Oliver and rest of the children in the children's home? Let's transact rest of the story in the next session. The story is so far completed in a nutshell. Oliver was a small boy who was brought to a children's home by the parish. Parish means a church committee. But the life board comprises 8 or 10 gentlemen, was very harsh towards the children. One day, Oliver was summoned in front of the life board and was given very serious instructions and orders. Furthermore, the life board took a crucial decision of offering 3 meals of thin gruel a day and 2 onions per week. Now, dear students, let's go through important words and their meanings of this reading passage. Beadle, an official of a church. Beadle, an official of a church. Parish, a church committee. Parish, a church committee. Gruel, a thin liquid food of oats, rice, etc. Gruel, a thin liquid food of oats, rice, etc. Devour, ate hungrily and quickly. Devour, ate hungrily and quickly. Appetite, the desire to eat or hunger. Appetite, the desire to eat or hunger. Voracious, wanting great qualities of food. Voracious, wanting great qualities of food. Stupefied, shocked. Stupefied, shocked. And here are some comprehension questions and answers. Who was Oliver? Oliver was a small boy. Who brought Oliver to the children's home? Oliver was brought to children's home by parish. Parish means church committee. What do you mean by beadle? An official of a church is called beadle. What was live board? Live board was a group of 8 or 10 officials of the church. What was the decision taken by the live board? The live board decided to offer 3 meals of thin gruel every day to the children in addition to 2 onions per week. Dear students, that's all about today's reading transaction, and rest of the reading passage will be continued in the next session. Until then, bye. Thanks for watching.